Let's talk about lack of emotions, feelings of numbness, especially throughout our childhoods, and even difficulty defining emotions and emotional needs and everything in between. The inspiration for this video came from a comment question from Trisha, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's go, shall we? I have a question. I felt completely shut down emotionally. Did you feel like you could no longer feel sadness, anger, happiness? It would be rare that I would cry. It would amaze me to see people feel emotion when I rarely could. Yes. As I'm feeling emotion now, and really thinking about your question, I didn't just walk around in an imaginary world, which is where your comment came from, talking about coping mechanisms and going inside of ourselves as children and finding a happy space, a safe space, and disconnecting really from what was going on around us, outside of us, with the exception of observation. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I could be in my imaginary world and clocking my mother smirking, which was a signal that something was coming as she walked by, or even the slightest change in her body language. I could connect to the body language and expressions of anybody who was in my vicinity, but I wasn't connected to my own emotions because I wasn't allowed to have them, to learn even how to feel them or identify them. I do remember times feeling frightened. Fear was a big one. And I say that like it was a rarity. It wasn't. I'm thinking that through. Like when I would clock the smirk, the fear, I could feel the fear. I don't remember really ever feeling that happy that I have come to know as I've gone on my healing journey. I definitely didn't do sadness until I accepted the death of my stepfather when I was 12 years old. And even that, it was, I felt it and I pushed it away and I went back into numb. I didn't cry at his funeral, one, because I didn't believe that he was dead, but two, because I was completely numb. And I remember like everything felt slow motion, and looking around the room and seeing his mother in this just most devastating grief and not being able to connect to it or understand it at all. I'll tell you what I did understand though. I understood that I wasn't allowed to have emotions in any direction. If I looked content, my mother would go on the attack at a higher level. If I made a face, her assumption was I was displeased. I don't think I was making faces because I was numb. It's really hard to connect to our own emotions when we're being constantly groomed and threatened to a level where we have to monitor the emotions going on around us instead of being able to have and develop our own. So I think that your experience is a pretty common one. I see it with my survivors in my therapy practice. I would love for other survivors in our community to comment in and to respond to your question as well. I did numb really well. I can still do it if I need it. Now it's a superpower. I can shut it off, disconnect, do what I need to do to get through maybe having to do something difficult, whatever the case may be. It's not something I do very often anymore because I don't feel the need to, but it's good to have in my tool chest. Might as well have something good come from that horrible childhood, traumahood experience, rather than have it still be something that controls me, right? That's how I look at it. So I now look at it as kind of a superpower that I wish I didn't have to develop, but since I did, I might as well use it. Thank you so much for the question. And again, all of our sibling survivors out there, comment in and talk to Trisha and to me. See you soon.